The X-Zone radio and TV show is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone radio and TV show or in any manner endorsed by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, Talkstar Radio Network, its affiliated stations, or employees.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Now, I think I know why it sounded so strange on the telephone. Well, it's hard when you discover what keeps you going, keeps you all alone. I dreamed so real, you thought the smoke might never clear, and you hide it all behind endless cigarettes and tears. Somebody waits for the time.
And welcome back to the X-Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell. Our guest this hour is Robert W. Morgan. He is the man who is behind the American Anthropological Research Foundation. Now, initially, millions of people around the world became familiar with Robert through the 1974 featured docudrama film Bigfoot, Man or Beast, which was originally entitled The Search for Bigfoot. That appeared in theaters and televisions around the world. It is still considered the benchmark of excellence in its genre even after 30 years. He generated millions more when he appeared on David Wolper's record-setting TV documentary, Monsters, Myth or Mystery, from the prestigious Smithsonian series, and the Montel Williams Show. And Robert W. Morgan, how are you, good sir?
I'm wonderful, sir. How about yourself and your lovely Laura?
Well, she's working in the hospital today, so I guess she's doing fine. She should be home in about 30 minutes or so. But she is fine. Robert, we're fine. And has the new year been good to you so far?
Absolutely. I am so busy that I hardly have time to eat a decent sushi dinner.
Oh, my goodness. So what have you been up to? I know that you, let me see, last you and I talked, you were finally... somebody had taken your film?
Well, not someone. We've created our own motion picture production company. I'm going back into the business after a 30-year respite. Uh-huh. I've been coaxed back in by some decent people, good people that know my work, my previous work. Mm-hmm. And so I will be going back into motion picture production. It's a brand new company. It has nothing whatsoever to do with Bigfoot, so folks don't need to worry about that. We're talking about quality motion pictures, feature films. And as a matter of fact, Rob, several of the films that we are packaging together will be done, we hope, in conjunction with the Canadian Film Board, and we'll be shooting in the province of Quebec. And I have 3 motion picture scripts. You know, I have a life outside of Bigfoot. Folks seem to think you can only do one thing. Well, I can chew gum and walk at the same time, and I can probably dance too.
Oh, I've heard that about you, Robert. I understand that when you go to Quebec, all the fine ladies come running for Robert Le Morgan.
But in any case, yeah, we've formed the Talisman Media Group, and we're remaking a feature film. Rob, it's hard to believe, but I made a film, a horror film, 30-some years ago in the Everglades, and I had already sold the concept for the In Search Of series. I did the concept for Lucky Lady with Burt Reynolds, Liza Minnelli, and Gene Hackman, etc. And it's things like that. And I was partners in a small film production company. We were doing commercials and things like that in Miami. And we looked around, and I watched. I also did Mako, The Jaws of Death, things like that. And I worked with Bill Shatner, William Shatner, out of Star Trek, on a film called Impulse. And I looked around and I said, I can do that. By now you know me, Rob. I'm a very impulsive individual. And so we put together a group of people, and we shot a film out. It cost us $60,000 in cash, but that's cheating because we already owned our production facility, right? But we did it for $60,000 cash. That thing grossed $5.7 million in the first year out.
Well, that's a nice spin on a return.
Yeah, and I thought, that is a very good business to be in. But in any case, I got off into other things, which is totally unrelated, with Frank Sturgis, the former CIA operative, things like that. And I did other adventurous things because
hey, Robert,
those people.
Something adventurous I have to do right now is take a commercial. Robert W. Morgan and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break. www.trueseekers.org. My name's Rob McConnell. This is Talkstar.
Seems like yesterday, but it was long ago. Jane, it was lovely, she was the queen of my night. There in the darkness with the radio playing low end, and the secrets that we shared, mountains that we moved, caught like a wildfire out of control, till there was nothing left to burn and nothing left to prove. And I remember what she said to me, how she swore that it never would end.
Robert W. Morgan is our special guest, www.trueseekers.org. And Robert, you're getting back into the film business after being out of it for 30 years. What was your inspiration to get back into the film industry?
Well, it came from other sources. They came to me and they said, "Look, you have a film that has lasted 32 years in the genre, and it's still going strong. It appears at all these horror film classic festivals. Why not do it?" And I had withdrawn from Hollywood because they took some of the things that I did and really chopped them up. And I'm very, you wouldn't believe this, but I'm a very opinionated fellow.
Not you.
Not me. No. And so I just simply withdrew. I had other things. to do. But in any case, I've been convinced to go back in, and I will do it. And I've committed several of my scripts to it. And by the way, several are going to be done in the province of Quebec. And if I have a part that involves a very seductive gentleman, I will definitely call on you.
Hey, no problem, buddy. Sign me up right now. You can be my agent. That's it. No problem.
In any case, let's go to the things that interest your listeners at the moment.
All right. Rob, over the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of notoriety and a lot of reports coming out of Texas about a UFO that was seen by a couple of dozen people. No photos, once again, except for one photo that has been classified as a hoax by the friends of the person who took it, as well as members of the UFO community. Why would a UFO sighting seen only by a couple of dozen people cause such a media buzz nearly 2 weeks after the alleged sighting?
You know, the UFO thing is a rather intriguing thing, because let's shoot back several years, quite a few years.
Okay.
I was in charge of the. This is in another life. I had at age 27, I had the maintenance responsibility for the entire computer complex for the Federal Aviation Administration in Washington, D.C. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And this was at the Air Traffic Control Center. One night, I was called, or I actually was walking by, and air traffic controllers were huddled around one of the tubs that we were using for radar at that time, and this was in Washington, D.C. And what was happening is there were two separate aircraft, and then a third came in, and these were all commercial aircraft. They were reporting that they were being tracked by what they described as discs, glowing discs. I stared over the top. I was not invited. I did it anyway. I stared over the shoulders of the air traffic controllers, and sure enough, on the radar tub, there were these radar returns, these contacts. And it was an Eastern Airlines, and as I recall, and don't hold me to it, I believe it was Delta and one other. And these airline pilots were reporting the same thing. Jets were scrambled out of Andrews Air Force Base. I watched them. Believe me, I was with Naval Air when I was in the Navy. Mm-hmm. I understand aircraft. I've been around aircraft since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. And I served aboard the USS Yorktown and the Princeton. So I know aircraft. I also know radar returns. And my education was in electronics. I was watching. And indeed, as our aircraft, fighter aircraft, the best we had out of Andrews, approached, I watched these blips that the commercial aircraft were talking about literally go off that screen in 3 sweeps, which indicated they were doing probably close to 11,000 miles per hour in order to do it. I saw it. It happened. And, of course, our jets turned around, and I listened to the things. UFOs have happened. However, as in Bigfoot, as in anything else, you have this cadre of lonely people who need to say, me too. And they come forth with all these strange sightings mm-hmm. with the concept of saying, please, God, someone notice me. Which then stirs the pot and turns their legitimate sightings into quandaries. Also, we have a government that doesn't want to admit that there are things out there that they cannot defend their people from. So we have a psy war. Now they call it psychological operations. Baloney. It's psychological warfare, even on their own people. They're saying, oh, of course they don't. Oh, no. The things that happened here and there. No. Calm down. Go back to your 9-to-5 job. Go ahead and buy your shoes and all this other stuff, and don't worry. We're protecting you. No. It's because they cannot protect you, and they don't want to give you the fear. Do UFOs exist? Yes. Do they exist in the quantity that they are reported? Absolutely not.
Robert, in your experience and the many years that you have spent working not only with the government in air traffic control or in the Navy, but in the other areas that you are very familiar with, do these UFOs pose a threat to the safety of the people of this planet?
No, I don't believe so. I believe that they have been around since before we were around. I think that they have been in and out here. There is an intelligence. We don't like to admit it, but really look at ourselves, Rob. For God's sake, we think we are so advanced, and yet most of our people don't know how to eat properly.
That's right.
To run their bodies.
Yeah.
You know, we still have to wear clothing made of things that are from vegetable matter or goose down or the hair of an animal like sheep in order to stay warm. We are not anywhere near advanced as what we would pretend to be. there are people among us that realize this, and yet you have to cater to the common man. We don't even know how to eat properly, for God's sake. We still go to McDonald's. I mean, what does that say to the IQ of the world population?
You know, it's a fast-paced society, and, you know, the fast food industry is one of the fastest-growing industries because, you know, we are just, most people, I should say, just get up in the morning, they leave the house with a cell phone in one hand, iPod in the other, they get in their car, drive to the local coffee drive-through, and their day is spent on the move. So what does it tell us? It tells us that we have long forgotten how to stop and smell the roses.
Yeah, Rob, you couldn't have said it more beautifully. Yes, I absolutely agree. I mean, I'm 73 years old. I can take on, I don't care who it is. Mm-hmm. I'm fine. Why? Because I stopped eating according to my taste buds. I consume that which I know is good for me. It is good for my body. It is fuel. I asked someone one time, I said, if I gave you a new Ferrari automobile, $350,000, I'm going to give it to you. Would you keep it clean? Oh, sure, Mr. Morgan. Yes, I'd keep it clean. Oh, really? Would you polish it? Oh, yes, Mr. Would you garage it? Oh, yes. Well, would you pee in the gas tank? And they looked at me and they said, ha, ha, ha. I said, no, I'm serious. Would you pee in the damn gas tank? Well, of course not. Oh, really? Well, the car that you are driving with your soul is your body. Yep. And you pee in your gas tank every time you eat a damn French fry, you idiot. And they looked at me and they tried to smile. I wasn't kidding. When you eat a French fry, you're peeing in your gas tank. You're clogging your carburetor. Yep. And people don't care.
People take better care of their cars than they do of their bodies.
Yes, they do. Yeah. And our hospitals and our doctors, I love it when they prescribe this, and all that. And all you have to do is eat correctly. That's all you have to do. Think before you put something in your mouth. Forget the taste buds. Who cares about taste buds? I don't care if it tastes good. Is it good for my body? Because my body is the car that this soul is driving. Does that make sense to you, Rob?
Made very good sense to me, Robert.
Yeah.
Made very good sense because, you know, a lot of the things that taste good are no darn good for us.
Well, they make it taste good because they're making profit. You know, everyone talks about the 6 days of creation, you know, and then seventh day, God rested. Well, Morgan has the seventh day of creation. The seventh day of creation is when God made taste buds. And God, or man rather, man made a God in man's own image. And his name was Prophet, Profit. That was the eighth day of creation. And they've been sucking off of people, ignorant people, lazy people, ever since.
Robert, you and I have to take our news break at the bottom of the hour. Please stand by. Robert W. Morgan is our special guest. 1-877-528-8255 is toll-free throughout the U.S., Canada, Alaska, and Hawaii. That's 1-877-528-8255. My email address is xzone@talkstarradio.com. On MSN Messenger, talkstarradio@hotmail.com. And our two websites, www.xzonetv.com and xzoneradio.com. Robert W. Morgan and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news. And if you'd like to find out more about Robert, his website is www.trueseekers.org. We'll return on the other side of the news as we continue live and around the world from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, exclusively on Talkstar.
Fresh new kicks and bands, you got it like that. Now you know you want to dance, so move out of your seat and get a fire girl and catch this beat while it's rolling. Hold on, pump a little bit and let the noise go on.
If you currently have A short-term fixed-rate home mortgage, you do need to listen to this. The mortgage industry is rapidly changing, and no one knows that better than your friends in the money business, Prime Pacific Capital. Every day, new guidelines are making it more and more difficult for homeowners to refinance the current mortgage. Don't get caught with the high interest rate and increased payments once that loan automatically adjusts. Interest rates are still low. Call Prime Pacific Capital today and refinance into a long-term, low-rate fixed mortgage. No matter what your credit situation or what state you live in, Prime Pacific Capital will work to secure a new loan for you. Don't count yourself out until you give us a call. A loan specialist is standing by to assist you with your free consultation. Make that call today. 1-866-464-1800. 1-866-464-1800. Call Prime Pacific Capital at 1-866-464-1800.
Call Premier Psychics at 866-745-6507. You'll speak with honest, caring psychics who will speak the truth in a warm, non-judgmental way. We're a new network with only seasoned, accurate psychics. Want to speak with 2 psychics at once? Ask about our double vision feature. Visit us at premierpsychics.com. Call one of our authentic psychics or call 2 of them. We're here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 866-745-6507. premierpsychics.com. Premierpsychics.com is to be used for entertainment purposes only.
Hi, this is Eric Rawls of Cosmoverse.com, and you're listening to Rob McConnell in the X Zone.
Hi, this is Blade Runner, and you are listening to Canada's #1 paranormal radio show, The X Zone, with Rob McConnell.
Hi, I'm Laura Sabrin of Feast to Fields Organic Vineyard in Jordan, and you're listening to Canada's #1 paranormal radio show, The X Zone, with Rob McConnell.
Hi, my name is Lady Ashley, the White Witch of Niagara-on-the-Lake, and you're listening to Canada's #1 paranormal talk radio show, The X Zone, with Rob McConnell.
Welcome to The X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
What kind of life would that be? Oh, I need you in my arms, need you to hold. You're my world, my heart, my soul. If you ever leave, well, baby, you would take away everything good in my life. And tell me, how do I live without you? I want to know.
Welcome back to the X Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell. Robert W. Morgan is our very special guest this hour. www.truthseekers.org. Robert, before we went to the commercial break, we were talking about UFOs and how people who really do not have these experiences or who sensationalize them are really hurting those who have the actual experiences.
Absolutely, and it's such a shame because, you know, Rob, for whatever reason, we seem to fear that which is not in our books.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a... May I ask you, have you ever had an experience yourself? Have you seen anything in the air that you could not identify yourself?
When I was young, my brother and I had an experience, and so did a lot of kids in the neighborhood. Now, what it was, Robert, I can't tell you. I don't know if it was a UFO. I don't know if it was something that I just could not identify. But to answer your question, yes.
What got you into, and I know your audience would love to know this, what got you into the profession that you're in now? What made you stand up and say, wait a second, let's talk about the strange, the unusual, the out-of-the-boundaries things? How did you come into this? Because you do such an excellent job at it.
Thank you. Well, I've always had an interest in the strange, the bizarre, the unknown, and I had many experiences as a child that made me or steered me into this direction. But the one, let's just take the sighting that I had. It was when we were living in Chamonix, which is it's just north of Montreal on the island of Laval. And we lived on, I believe it was 68th Avenue. Now, my parents always wanted us to go to school and, just to be able to walk to school. So they always tried to get a house as close to the school as they can. Now, as kids we called it a curse, but as we grew up, we could understand why, and we certainly appreciated it. My mom is of European descent, and we had to be in bed by 7 o'clock at night. Whether it was during school holidays or whether it was during the week, you had to be in bed by 7 o'clock. Now, you could read, you could write, you could draw, you could color, but you had to be in bed by 7 o'clock. Living right across the street from two schools at either end of the block with a playground in the middle was kind of hard when you're a kid. We'd hear our friends out there playing, or we'd get up, we'd look out the window and see them. There was always action in the summer. Always action in the summer. As kids always like to play outside and as late as they can. Well, this one night, Robert, it got very quiet. The kids stopped. For some reason, it got deadly quiet, very quiet. We couldn't hear the kids playing anymore. And what we did was we decided, I got up and something caught my eye on the right-hand side. I looked up and it looked like a cigar-shaped object that was going from south to north, going very slow. And it was making no noise whatsoever. Now, we lived on the approach to the Dorval Airport, and this was in the time where turboprops were being replaced with jets. It was a great time to enjoy watching the aircraft go over. But this object was making no noise whatsoever. Plus, the approach to Dorval was from the east to the west, not the south to the north. So we called my dad to try and get him to come in and see what we were looking at, and he just thought it was my brother and I trying to stay up a little later. What we did was we finally convinced my dad to come into the room, but by the time we did, he had already this object had already gone out of view. Now, to make another long story short, what we did was my dad pretended that he was calling up the airport, and we used to have the rotary dial telephone where you stick your finger in and turn the dial. Well, Dad wasn't doing that, and my brother looked at me and I looked at my brother, and it was like, okay, he's trying his best, God love him. And he said, hi, is this the airport? Yeah. Well, my son saw blah, blah, blah. Oh, really? Okay, thank you very much. And he said, go to bed, kids. It was just an airplane. Well, I didn't feel frightened by what I saw. I was more drawn to the aspect of what is it? And I knew standing in front of that window that night that what I saw was going to change my life. And it did. It drove me to doing what I'm doing today. I've been down throughout the United States. I've gone diving at the Bimini Wall. I've traveled and I've spoke to the most interesting people on this planet in my search to find out what that was. And in doing so, I've learned that other people had experiences with other things that they could not identify and that they had questions about. And this is why I do this show.
So that was the genesis of your show.
Mm-hmm.
It came from a sighting yourself. You see,
now,
and Rob, you and I, and I'll bet you most of us that do what we do,
mm-hmm.
It's like myself coming face to face with a forest giant.
Mm-hmm.
They call it Bigfoot, and up in Mason County, which I've recounted many times. And I was a brat from Ohio. Just came back from a Far Eastern cruise of the Navy. I had no clue what I was talking about. I had no clue what I was seeing. And yet what I reported was treated with skepticism offhand, just like you. And I said, just like you, one of these days I'm gonna. And I added it to my list. And sure enough, while I was in Washington, D.C., after I saw those UFOs, and that's exactly, a UFO doesn't mean it comes from outer space. It's unidentified. I don't know what the hell it was.
Yeah.
No one knew what it was. But it moved faster than any aircraft that we knew of. And I've been around aircraft for a very, very, very long time.
What the amazing part of the story that catapulted me or that steered me in the direction that I am today, Robert, is that even though no adult talked about that strange thing in the sky, next day every kid in this park was.
Really?
Yeah.
You see, because children haven't been taught, you cannot know that.
Yeah.
You shouldn't know that. And children, when they see something, they have this wonderful word called why. And most adults have gone beyond that because they become mentally lazy, spiritually encumbered, because if it's not in the Bible, I'm sorry to say,
yes,
then it doesn't exist. Well, excuse me, but it did. Ezekiel had a bit of a problem himself.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's extraordinary. I'm very intrigued and very pleased to hear your what brought you into this, because I've often wondered what would motivate you to take on such monumental challenges that you do, because you ask the questions that most of us would like to ask but never do. Good for you.
Thank you, sir. I've got a question for you here, Robert. I was wondering what Mr. Morgan thinks of reports of dogmen in Linda Godfrey's books. Some researchers think that many Bigfoot reports might be misidentifications of these creatures, possibly related to these might be reports of skinwalkers. I'm liking his discussion of UFOs. That's from Charles. Thank you, Charlie.
Well, it's rather extraordinary, because if you have to go back into what we used to call Indian mythology. Mm-hmm. You see, if it wasn't in the white Christian books that came out of Europe, it became mythology, because after all, if they couldn't define it, then it must be a myth. So I think what you're talking about is transformations, or I guess you should say substitutions, because what we see in areas and what we try to describe sometimes come out according to our experiences. I think the best thing to do is reflect into the Native American people who didn't have the European ego.
Mm-hmm.
You see, we came into it saying, we are made in the image of God. Well, in that case, God's in trouble. Because why would God need a teeth to chew? That means he has to eat. Why would he have a buttocks, etc.? I mean, I can go into forever. Does he defecate? I don't know. What the hell? Why are we making... So the Native Americans saw things much more clearly and much more honestly with themselves. So I think what you're talking about is a I guess you might say a bastardization of what the Indians, the Native Americans, saw. This is my best guess, because I honestly can't say anything more than that.
Even the Indians talked about their thunder god, and I'm just wondering if there's a relationship to the thunder god and to spacecraft.
Well, the Native Americans had a very interesting way. They spoke of the other animals that walk the face of this earth as their brothers and their sisters.
Mm-hmm.
I can speak only with any authority among the Apache because of my blood and my. But when they would kill an animal, they would kill a deer, let's say, they would go to the deer and they would apologize. They would apologize. They would explain to the deer as it's dying, this is who I am. This is my name. I killed you. I took your life because my family needs your skin, your hooves, and I promise you that nothing will be wasted. It did not, nothing that you give to our life will be wasted. And indeed they did. Where the white people would kill a buffalo and take only the skin and the hell with the rest of it.
Yeah.
Because the Indians felt a part, being a part of the world. We were taught by Christianity and Judaism and all the rest that we were the masters of the world, that everything was created for our pleasure. The Native Americans didn't feel that. They were part of it. They talked of their brother hawk and their sister snake and things like this. And they had no problems with it. We have this ego problem, Rob. And thank God I don't have it. I don't mind talking to the squirrels and to the deer as if they are equals, because they occupy the same space I do.
Well, who said they're not equals?
Most Christians, everything thinks, and the Muslims, they believe that everything was placed on this earth for their use and abuse by their omnipotent God. This is your earth. Go use it. Go abuse it. I just don't see it that way. I like being part of it.
Robert, a couple of, I believe it was last year or the year before, you and I talked about a young lady by the name of Patty. And I was just wondering how Patty is doing and how the other members of the Lakota tribe on Pine Ridge Reservation are making out.
Not well. Patty catches the enemy is who we're talking about. She's a direct descendant of Crazy Horse and a few other monumental Sioux people. They're not doing well. The reservations that most Americans think that the American government is throwing money at the Indians for nothing. It's wrong. It's dead wrong. These people are in serious, serious trouble because they're trying to live in a sense, in their own old way. They don't see raping the earth. They don't do things like that. But they were given a pittance of money. And they're given, with all due respect, most of the medical services that they were promised come out to be the people that flunked out of college. They're not doing well. The homes that they're living in are cast-offs. They tried to get some of the people on the Pine Ridge Reservation tried to get some of the
FEMA trailers.
The FEMA, the FEMA trailers that are rotting, absolutely rotting, because the people in New Orleans don't deem to accept them. So the Lakota Sioux said, "Give them to us," but FEMA will not. So they're rotting, and these people, some of them have 7, 8, 10 different children from different families, just huddling in these things, trying to stay warm. It's 10 degrees below zero, for God's sake.
I remember when we were talking to Patty, she had a hole in her ceiling, or her roof. It was raining, and she had been trying so hard to get somebody to take a look at it.
Yes, and the white people say, "Oh, to hell with those Indians. They're on their reservation." No.
Robert, stand by. You and I have to take a commercial break. Robert W. Morgan is our special guest. www.trueseekers.org. Still to come on tonight's show, William Federer is my guest when we come back from the news at the top of the hour, and then Patrick Cook is my special guest in our final hour as we do the weekly rendition of the Cook Report. 1-877-528-8255 is toll-free. My name is Rob McConnell, and Robert W. Morgan and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break as we continue live and around the world right here on Talkstar.
Look in my eyes, man. You can't touch this. Yo, let me bust up on the lyrics. Fresh new kicks and bands. You got it like that. Now you know you want to dance. So move out of your seat and get a fire girl and catch this beat while it's rolling.
Hey, hello there. I'm Victor Ives from Talkstar Radio and our new commercial-free movie channel, White Springs TV. You know, for over 2.5 decades, I hosted Golden Age of Radio on hundreds of radio stations across America. And now I'm proud to be part of bringing you the Golden Age of movies and lots of family-friendly movies without commercial interruption. Find out about White Springs TV online at www.whitesprings.tv. It's free because we do have commercials between the movies while we present cartoons, musical shorts, previews, classic TV, special entertainment, and informational features. See it online at www.whitesprings.tv and on a growing list of TV stations and cable systems, as well as direct from space anywhere in the U.S., Canada, Mexico, and much of Central America. White Springs TV.
Whether it's the arrival of Planet X in 2012, the Earth's crazy weather cycles, our deadly global warming, Armageddon, UFOs, ETs, terrorism, the critical mass 2008 presidential elections, Dr. Jason Rand talks the talk and walks the walk. Being a twice-nominated Grammy record producer, recording artist, publisher, lecturer, UFO ET researcher and investigator, and best-selling author of The Return of Planet X, Mankind's Ongoing Legacy with a Brown Dwarf Star, Dr. Jason Rand truly does walk the walk and talk the talk. For more information on Dr. Jason Rand or to order The Return of Planet X, visit his website at www.returnofplanet-x.com or call 901-336-9660. And where will you be in the year 2012?
Robert W. Morgan is my guest this hour. www.trueseekers.org. Robert, I'd like to thank you very much for coming on with us tonight. I know that you're a very busy man, and with this new film company that you've started, and I know that you've got your hands in other projects. Thanks, buddy, for being there.
Oh, it's my pleasure, sir. But may I ask? Patty, we spoke with Patty Catches. May I ask, is it possible that we would give your she needs help, and we've done all that we can do, believe me. Is there anything that, may I give her address and et cetera to your,
sure.
to your audience?
Please do, Robert.
All right, if you can send anything at all to Patricia, her name is Patricia Catches the Enemy, but you can call her just Patricia Catches. If you can send her anything at all right at this point, we've done all that we can do. Her number is, her address is P.O. Box 1847 in Pine Ridge, South Dakota 57770. She has so many children in her mobile home, and they're hungry, they're cold, and they need everything that we can give them. And she is for real. She is a descendant of Crazy Horse. She is quite the lady. Please, if you can do anything to help these people, do. These are Native American people that belong with the earth. She's one of the old tribe. She believes in the old ways. And if you can do anything for her, please do. I personally would appreciate it. We have done everything we can do, but there's always more. Robert, thank you so much, very much, Rob, for being who you are and what you are and what you are doing, not only in this area, but in every other area in which you are exposing the frauds, and consequently, in consequence, you are stimulating the intellect to those people that want to know the truth of why.
My pleasure, my friend. You take care of yourself, Robert. I'd love to have you on with Patty. Maybe we can do a special with her.
Anytime, anywhere, pal. Anything.
Right. You take care. Bye-bye, Robert. Robert W. Morgan, www.trueseekers.org. 1-877-528-8255 is toll free. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone on the Talkstar Radio Network. 5 top signs that you're never going to become a saint. Are you ready for the Superman? Number 1, that silly restriction of leading a pious life. Number 2, every time someone writes your name on the application, it bursts into flames. Number 3, the church not currently looking for patron saint of beer. Number 4, the Vatican confirms you're on the list, but the entire population of Earth is ahead of you. And number 5, your insistence on using your nickname, Saint Party Dude. 1-877-528-8255 is toll free. When we come back from the news at the top of the hour at 6.5 minutes past, William Federer will be joining me. And I've always said that our problems lie because we don't understand the other side. He's going to be talking to us what most Americans don't know about Islam. William Federer is my guest on the other side of the news as we continue live and around the world from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, on TV and radio on Talkstar.
You can't touch this.